Hi everyone, welcome to the Model Gaming Show. I'm your host, GWFawkes, and I'm going to dig right in. This is taking place immediately after the Game Awards. First, a couple of housekeeping notices. Sorry for not doing anything over Thanksgiving, or I did a Thanksgiving show, but had a little break. Holidays always mess with things. I'm going to try and be more consistent every week with something, and this is a big event. I did think about live streaming the Game Awards, but other outlets very frankly are more capable and more entertaining than I would be currently, so I decided just to do a reactions immediately after. First, some stuff that happened this week. Mega Man 11 was announced. New game coming out next year. It'll be the first one in 7 years, and the entire Mega Man X Legacy collection, or Mega Man X collection 1 through 8, will be released next year on all platforms. Along with the new game, will be on all platforms: PC, Switch, PS4, Xbox, and that's great. I love Mega Man. Always have. I have both the collections on my Xbox right now, and I'll probably pick the X collection up and the new one on PC. The second one, before I dig into the Game Awards, is PlayStation 4 announced that they sold 70 million units. Now, that's not sold through or shipped, right? That's not sold through to consumers, that's sold to retailers. 70 million is still impressive. 600 million games, and an interesting wrinkle, 2 million PlayStation VRs. Now, I think that's cool because 2 million is a lot, especially for something that niche and that the technology really hasn't gotten adopted by the mainstream. So 2 million is pretty damn good for the console version. I know it doesn't sound great, but for right now where we're at in the industry, it is. So let's get into the Game Awards. Start at 5:30, ended at 8:45. Had like a half-hour pre-show. It's funny. It felt like, first of all, extremely well produced. It was a great show. I don't like awards shows. They frankly make me uncomfortable. They always have. And it's hard for me to watch them because I always get, I guess, nervous, or I feel uncomfortable watching people give awards and like some of the cringeworthy stuff. And there definitely was some of that. But overall, this was a great show. I actually kind of was writing down things of note and like good, the bad, the weird, and the meh, like just kind of in the middle. And really, there's only two things that I would really critique. And I want to get those out of the way first. I just think that, they had 28 categories that they hyped up. And I think they only did maybe 8 on the show. So just like the Oscars or any other award, you can't get to everything, right? So it's no fault of their own. But the way that they announced the winners without really any fanfare at all, it was just like, yeah, this game won this, this game won this, this game won this. There was no pause even, or no little even video montage of anything, or really no break. It was just like seamlessly in the breaks, seamlessly introducing the next thing. And that was the other thing I would critique. I like Jeff Keighley as a host. It's his show. Let him do it. No point in getting anybody else because this is his deal. And while he did do a good job, and you can't account for everybody, it felt, every segment kind of felt very similar, where it was one question, answer, one question. It just, there was a little bit, not really any variety, and it reminded me of the exact same setup of last year's show. Like if you compared them, it would be almost identical, right? That's really it for the negatives. I mean, again, I don't like award shows, and this was extremely entertaining. A ton of world premiere trailers, new games announced. Really just an overall good show, and I want to just dig into just a few things. The big winner of the night was, I think, Zelda Breath of the Wild. It beat out Super Mario Odyssey. I necessarily wouldn't agree with that, but I think Zelda Breath of the Wild is a fantastic achievement. They also shadow dropped the DLC available tonight, which is incredible, to shadow drop that, and it looks great. I don't know if it is going to be good, but it's out right now, which is really cool. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice was another big winner for a small game. It won for Best Performance Capture by Melina Jurgen, I think is how you pronounce her name. and games with impact. So that was like the impactful games that dealt with like a subject matter. I still haven't played it, but I've heard and read up enough about it to where I'm familiar. It's like it deals with mental illness. What was really cool is they got Andy Serkis to do that award, and Melina was so nervous and humble, and that she's actually like a video editor for them, and that was her first performance capture or acting of any kind. That was really great. I really think that this show was really, it's so much different from any other award shows because everyone here is so damn humble. Really, it's you don't have any personalities, you don't have anybody pushing an agenda. The actual speech for the Games with Impact Hellblade was one of my favorites by I guess the main designer. I apologize, I don't really know most of these people's names. I don't want to delve into it, but it was a short and concise speech about why these things matter and how video games allowed that team to make this game. And I think something like that's really important. Some more favorite moments, just some things that I know other people will be excited about that I'd rather touch on now before I really dig into the really great stuff. Soul Calibur 6. I love the first several Soul Caliburs. I played the first one on Dreamcast a ton, and Soul Calibur 6 is back. It's been, 5 years. The trailer was whatever. You could put up probably the trailer for the last game, and it would look almost identical. Bayonetta 1 and 2 are being released on the Switch, and Bayonetta 3. Those games have absurdly high reviews. I played the second one for about 15 minutes after buying it for the Wii U, and I just felt it was like a Devil May Cry clone, and I really, frankly, wasn't into it. I imagine getting a lot of crap for that, but truthfully, that's just like I couldn't get into it, and so great. It's a Switch exclusive though, which is a cool get for them, especially now that the Switch is just going out of control selling. And World War Z. That's the only kind of other thing that I felt was meh. It's like it looked a lot like Left 4 Dead, which is great. I hope it turns out to be good. So I just want to highlight just a few things that I've really liked. I wrote down a ton of stuff, but really the few things that I thought were really impactful, really important. First off, just a really funny moment, and I think it matters now, and it's like best, I'm calling it best personality. It's not best personality, but Dr. Disrespect, like influential gamer. I don't watch him too much, but from what I've seen, he's very funny, he's very entertaining, and he's passionate, and he has this loyal following. And you can tell that he gives a crap, even though he's joking, even though it's like he role plays like the whole time. He's in character like the whole time, but you can tell that he really gives a shit. What else? The orchestra, the live orchestra was fantastic. Throughout the night, they were playing music. They actually introduced the nominees at the very end for Game of the Year with a nice medley, like a minute for each game. I thought that was a fantastic way to give the nominees for the Game of the Year, especially with video behind it and everything like that. It really captured like the games, even in cutscenes, but the music, you feel it so much more. The Carol Shaw Icon Award, fantastic. They've got an original developer for a bunch of games for the Atari 2600, and it was a really great clip, like 5-minute documentary kind of thing on her background and her story. I felt it was really poignant, and it was much needed at this show to highlight someone whose career has spanned, started and happened like 40 years ago almost. It's pretty crazy. Just trying to think of games that come out. Okay, so this is what everyone's going to be talking about, and I don't want to touch on it too much because this guy's crazy. I forget his last name. It's Joseph something for A Way Out, his game. The meme of the show is going to be, and I thought about signing off with this, but I'd rather just discuss it, is fuck the Oscars. Basically saying this is how you do an awards show, like how stuffy the Oscars is. This guy was madness on the stage, and you could tell Jeff was just like had to corral him in, and it was totally going off script. It was fantastic. But at the same time, it was a bit much. Like, the guy was going on, and it was a bit too much. And his personality is just so wild and whatnot. I can't imagine he'll be back, even if his game. I can't. He's too unpredictable, and maybe that gets views. Maybe that gets help. But like, you can't have somebody that out of control. But that will be the meme for the night, and the meme for the Game Awards, and the viral Game Awards thing. I'm sure that went viral as he was still on stage giving the award. I haven't checked Twitter or anything like that, so I have no idea. But yeah, another cool thing, you got a lot of release dates actually for games, new games too, that are coming out. Sea of Thieves got a release date. Oh crap, what did A Way Out got a release date. You got a lot of games that put at the very least coming in 2018 or 2019. Like, there was no just like coming soon. The last thing that I want to talk about in terms of what was good and the overall, for me, is the overall vibe, I guess, was it was quick pace. You had a fun performance by Phoenix come out with random celebrity like Jason Schwartzman came out and introduced them. You had Felicia Day, Zachary Levi, a lot of like some celebrities who are into video games, Aisha Tyler, come out and present. I thought that had a nice touch. And you had big video game developers. I'm forgetting his name, head of Sony. Main guy at Sony. Dang it. His speech or something. I can't remember. But he gave like a really nice 3 to 4 minute speech because he's like retiring from Sony, and he's been there for 20 years and 20 plus years, and paving the way and being there for every step. And it was really heartwarming. And he presented an award too, which I thought was nice. But it gave him a little outlet for him to do. So my overall thing is the direction of presentation of this show was fantastic. Truthfully, a lot of other award shows could learn from this. And I'm glad that it was streamed. You had F-bombs, which was refreshing to see, honestly. You had swearing. You had people being natural. And that, to me, is always good when it feels real. Some weird stuff. Okay, so I wanted to give him some weird stuff. The show started off super weird with Justin Roiland and the Stanley Parables guy, I forget. Just two crazy personalities announcing their game called Accounting Plus. It just looks like a game that's madness in VR. Super weird, super crazy. Don't even know what to think of it. From Software, a lot of people love From Software. They love Dark Souls games. I never could get into them. I don't like the combat. I've been told to play Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne. We'll see. But at the same time, they showed like a 30-second teaser, if that, and I don't even know what the point of it was. I thought it was so strange to play some music. I have no idea. I'm assuming since PSX is tomorrow that we'll get more, but I could totally see that not happening, and nothing being heard from that game for like another year. Whatever it is, you don't even know. It was just like some musical instrument type thing. Who the hell knows what it was? And the weirdest thing of the night, how could I not mention Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro presenting an award, and then Hideo Kojima and Norman Reedus coming out to present another batshit crazy 7-minute clip from Death Stranding. Still not seen any gameplay. We've just got the feel, and it was absurd. It really was. It was so strange, and but it has this it has this thing where it draws you in. The atmosphere in it is so good, and it's a cool piece of filmmaking. I don't even know if there's a game at this point. This could just be like a movie that they've did in like motion capture at this point. It's so weird. You can't. It's like indescribable. It's like Norman Reedus surviving some invisible alien things. There's no point in describing it. Just go watch it and check it out. And it gives you a feeling, right? It's something strong. It makes a statement, right? So that's what you want. You want something that leaves a lasting image and impact. And there's images in that are fantastic. Baby at the throat, going like that. or whatever. That's something you haven't seen before. So overall, I again, this is coming from someone who doesn't like award shows. I enjoyed it. It was really entertaining for 3 hours, and you can't say that about much. Like mini award shows where it's for 3 hours, it entertains. It's not stuffy. It's progressive. The visuals and everything about it was top notch. You can see the budget, man. You can see the money that they put into that. And the commercials were just a few minutes, and it was for video games. And some of the times it was for stuff that I hadn't even seen yet. So that was cool too. Rocket League went a little overboard though. Like every commercial break, they had one for the Switch, which I thought was funny. So they paid out the nose for that. Like Switch was on every commercial break, which is good though. That's what they needed. So overall, I thought it was really damn good, really entertaining. It's gonna make me watch the one next year. I guess the only thing that I would change in that Jeff might be interested in doing now that he's done this. I don't know if he likes that responsibility. He likes hosting, but I would almost get someone else to split the time with him. So you have one person. He doesn't need to be the one doing the interviews with those people. He can just be like the stage presence, like almost like a Ricky Gervais for the Emmys, right? He comes out on stage, does a bit, whatever. So so there's not so much pressure and stress, because I know he's got a lot on his plate because he plans the whole damn thing, right? So if it were me, I'd either get Sydney Goodman. She was perfectly fine doing the ad reads and whatnot. So you do that, but maybe get somebody else to like one of the people in the backstage, right, that we never saw, Andrea Renee. She was up for like an award too, but she's fantastic, right? Get her out to interview the people. Because that's one less thing that Jeff has to deal with, time constraints and stress, and he can be the host. It's all about delegating, man, when you're the boss. And for me, that would have been much better if he was out on the front stage more, instead of kind of on that side interviewing developers. So overall, again, great show, extremely well produced, just high quality production, and this is what video game needs. It needs an Oscars like this. I mean, the guys I was watching, Easy Allies, they were like, this is, I kept seeing in the chat, like, this is the new E3. This is like better than E3 with announcements and everything like that. And it certainly felt like it. It felt like E3 condensed into, it felt like every video, like, conference condensed into like 2.5 hours. And it was just everyone bringing their crap. I mean, come on, to have Nintendo shadow drop their Zelda DLC, like their only big DLC, you know what I mean? Like tonight, all the exclusives we got for like, hey, world premieres, like drop it now, play it now, that kind of stuff. It's crazy, and that's what the industry needs, is something like that. I do want to go out. EA got a ton of shit. On a negative note, sorry. EA got a ton of crap this year, deservedly so, but everyone was bagging on them, except for the A Way Out, where he just said, hey, it's cool to hate on them right now, but you know what? They've shown me a lot of love. They backed my studio completely, and I think in his words, corporations fuck up sometimes, and ain't that the truth? So thank you guys for tuning in. I'm gonna be just dark for a couple minutes, and then gonna try and stream some more of a game right now. But thanks for joining, and catch me in a few minutes if you're watching live. Peace.